More than 40 years ago, a man's body was found in the Brunswick River. Detectives referred to him as John Doe 1977, but what is his real name? For now, his identity and his murder remain unsolved. This is where a wildlife officer found John Doe 1977.
May 13th, 1977. John's body was found fully wrapped in burlap, and it had snagged on the banks of the Brunswick River just south of the 74-76 bridge.
Mary Doncourt, a civilian investigative specialist with the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office, says he probably had not traveled far.
It was thought that perhaps he'd been dropped off the bridge.
She says John only had one thing on him.
He was only wearing blue socks.
Doncourt says when the man was found, you could see his hands sticking out of the bag as if he tried to get out. Doncourt says he had been in the water for about a week, making it almost impossible for the coroner to find a cause of death.
Because of the way he was found, he ruled his death by drowning. But I don't think anybody wraps themselves tightly in burlap and jumps in the water.
The coroner estimated he was around 20 years old, but she said it was hard to tell.
Decomposition had started. He was bloated.
Detectives drew this sketch first, and then another when they discovered he may have weighed less than they thought. But they were missing a big part of the investigation.
All of this was before the protocols changed, requiring that the ME's office keep remains. So his body was cremated and buried at sea after the autopsy and everything was done, so we don't have access to DNA.
But they did have this.
It's a very unique dental chart that shows he had extensive dental work done. It would have been expensive dental work.
Doncourt says they couldn't find anything from dentists in the surrounding area. More recently, she tried reaching out to the director of the University of Maryland's Museum of Dentistry.
He did not think the work was done in the United States at that time.
So where could he have been from?
There's the huge port in Wilmington. We wondered, because he was never reported missing, if perhaps he was off one of the ships that came through,
or
if he might have been a military dependent whose family was stationed overseas, or if he might have been military himself.
But after 40 years, investigators still don't know who he is or who did this.
What really happened that day, nobody knows. Except maybe if someone was else, you know, the people who threw him off the bridge or whatever.
And as more time passes, the chance of finding someone who knows is dwindling.
But you just kind of hope that there'll be that one little break and you keep looking for different things.
Doncourt isn't going to stop until John Doe 1977 gets what he deserves.
Because he was a human being, he deserves to have a name. 40 years is a long time to wait to get your name.
And a long time for a murder to remain unsolved. If you know anything, please contact the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office. For more on this case and other unsolved cases in the Cape Fear, go to wwaytv3.com/unsolved.